All right, so welcome to the collegiate panel, and we are the Iowa State SWENExt section. So to start us off, we'll go through a little bit about what SWENExt is. So we are the Iowa State SWENExt section, and we have two SWENExt sections started in around Ames, and then we've also partnered with the Australia SWENExt section to have this collegiate panel and expand globally. So the purpose of SWENExt is to empower females under the age of 18 to prepare for careers in engineering and technology. So we want to share our experiences in STEM so far in college with other females in high school to prepare them to make those decisions of where they want to go to college or what they might want to pursue for their degree. So we want to provide programs, meetings, activities, any way to help high schoolers learn more about STEM and help them make that decision of what they might want to do for their future career in engineering or other technology. So now we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves, the panelists. So my name is Maya Beckwith. I'm a junior in chemical engineering, and some of my internship and research experience includes I was a corporate technology intern at Donaldson Company last summer. So at Donaldson, I was working with their filtration company. So I was doing research and development with filtration. And then I've also done undergraduate research in the food science department at Iowa State. And that was my freshman year. So I got to see the food science side of chemical engineering. In SWE, I'm the VP of the SWENExt committee. And some other things I'm involved in at Iowa State include the, obviously, Society of Women Engineers. I'm part of TEAM, which is the Engineering Ambassador and Mentor Program, and I'm also a peer mentor for the Chemical Engineering Learning Community. And a fun fact about myself is I love hiking and being outside, and I want to travel to all the national parks, and I've been to 11 of them so far.
Hi, I'm Lexi Barney, and I'm a sophomore double majoring in aerospace engineering and applied mathematics. My internship experience has all been at a company called Advanced Technology Services. So the first summer that I interned there was right out of high school, and I had a customer service internship. The following summer, I worked on their engineering team. And then this past winter, I worked on their cultural development team. My position in SWE is I'm the high school liaison chair, and my other ISU involvement is Society of Women Engineers. I'm a mentor for FIRST Robotics. I'm a part of the ALD Honor Society, and I'm a peer mentor for the aerospace learning communities. And fun fact about me is I was a competitive figure skater for 17 years.
Hi, my name is Natalie Shepard, and I am a junior in mechanical engineering. I'm also getting a minor in sustainability. My internship experiences, I've been a product verification intern at John Deere since November of 2019. I work in the sprayer department, testing new products that are created. My position within SWE, I'm the SWENExt coordinator chair. And then other involvement I've had at Iowa State would be with SWE as well, with the salt company, and I've also been a tutor. Fun fact about me is I really enjoy riding my bike.
My name is Ashley Barrett. I am a freshman in chemical engineering on the pre-med track. So I'm the first year representative for SWENExt. My ISU involvement includes Society of Women Engineers, the ISU Pre-Med Club. I'm the secretary for Kappa Delta Sorority. I'm a member for Dance Marathon, and I'm also in the first year honors program. And a fun fact about me is I know how to juggle.
Great, so now we'll get into some questions that we've come up with that we can answer for you all about engineering and just kind of what we do in general. So we'll just go through the list and we can all answer them. So first question is, why did you choose engineering / your specific engineering major? I can start. So I chose chemical engineering because of the wide variety of options and opportunities that are available with it. I'm very indecisive and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do going into college. And I knew that if I didn't just choose something, I probably would take forever to decide. But with chemical engineering, there's so many options once you get your degree, so many different industries and jobs you can go into that I liked having that flexibility. So I could go into like the food industry, medical side and do like biomedical engineering type things, or you can go into energy. There's so many different things that you can do. So that's why I chose chemical engineering.
I can go next. So my career goal is I want to be a high school teacher for like math and physics kind of thing. So I wanted to put myself through an engineering program in college. That way I could better prepare my future students for college. So that is why I have my math major and also why I'm majoring in aerospace engineering. And I figured if I was going to major in engineering, aerospace sounded like one of the cooler ones to me. So I really wanted to like study astrodynamics and aerodynamics and stuff like that, which is why I went with my major.
I picked mechanical engineering. Growing up, I always knew that I was going to be an engineer. Both my parents are engineers. My brother's studying engineering. So it kind of runs in the family. But I specifically picked mechanical engineering because I like the hands-on aspect of the engineering. I like being able to like pick things up and test them and work in a test lab and things like that.
I chose engineering because I knew that I wanted to go pre-medicine, but I also wanted to find a more math-based route to a pre-med. So I chose chemical engineering because it matches my pre-med requirements the most, and I just also wanted to do a little more difficult degree than your typical pre-med.
Great. So the next question is, what is your favorite part about being an engineer? I would say for me, I like engineering because it's very exciting and everything is new and changing and it's a lot of problem solving, and the job that we'll have and the industries we'll go into will not be boring. Everything is always changing. Like if you're in research, you might be doing one thing one day and you have to change your plan the next day. And it's exciting and new, and you're fixing things and making the world better through the problems that you're solving. So that's what I like about being an engineer and having that as my job aspect. Like coming up in my like career, I'll be able to do different things every day and my job won't be boring. So that's why I like being an engineer.
My favorite part about being an engineer is I really like working with people. So there's a lot of engineering is very team based and a lot of group projects. And likely you'll never be working alone. And that is one of my favorite parts about being an engineer.
My favorite part about being an engineer is problem solving, and then also being able to make a difference in the world. Being able to change the way something is done or change the way people live, I think is probably my favorite part of engineering.
And I would say my favorite part about engineering is just the challenge. It's not as easy as some may think. It's a lot more of hands-on. You really have to work hard in your classes.
So moving on to talking about some of our experiences. So my only internship experience so far has been at Donaldson Company and their filtration company. I never thought I would end up in filtration, but that's where my internship was, and I had no idea what I was doing going into it, but it ended up being great. So what I did for my internship was I was working with like evaluating the uniformity of filters. So when you're making a filter and you want it to be very uniform so that it does the best job at filtering what it needs to. So I was looking at what might cause filters to be not uniform. And then I was also developing a method to visually analyze the filters using by taking pictures of them and then using the software to take those pictures and analyze them to see how uniform is the filter, and can we tell by looking at a picture if it's uniform enough on like a production line, for example. So that's what I was doing for my internship project.
So I've had 3 internships so far, all at the same company. My first one was in customer service. So basically, Advanced Technology Services is a small company that does factory repairs for bigger companies like Caterpillar, Kellogg, bigger companies like that. So the first year I was just answering phones, reaching out to customers, doing quote hold follow-ups and stuff like that. It was a good way to get like an in at the company, but obviously wanting to be in engineering and be in STEM, it wasn't the greatest fit for me. So then the following year, I was able to get into their engineering team where I mainly worked on vacuum pumps and building and designing test stands to test different electronics that would come in. So we would basically get something in, we'd fix it, we'd have to run a test on it to make sure it's up to specs and standards, and then we'd ship it back out. So I was working on like tearing apart the pumps, cleaning them, troubleshooting what was wrong with it, and then the like head engineer of my team would tell us to like find the part online that we need to replace it and stuff like that. So that's what I did with vacuum pumps. And then in order to test them, we had to, build and design the test stand. So that was my experience for last summer. And then over winter break, I was asked to come back because during the summer, I started this I don't know the word for it. It's not a petition, but I basically made this plan to improve their recycling and add another pillar to their culture of protecting the environment. So I got asked to come back in cultural development and kind of develop that. I think they had 5 pillars before, so that 6th pillar of saving the environment. So that was really exciting. I felt like I was able to have an actual impact on that company, and I felt really valued as an intern. And then this upcoming summer, I got a job at Solar Turbines based in San Diego, California, where I will be working on their aero group for their turbines.
My internship experience, I've only had one internship. It's kind of different from the other two's internship experience. Mine is a year-round internship. So during the summertime and anytime I'm not taking classes, I'll work a week. But then while I'm taking classes, because John Deere has a building in the research park near campus, I'm able to work around 15 hours a week. And it's flexible with my class schedule and also, what's it called? Just nice, easy commute over there. Good experience to have. And so since I've started at John Deere, I've been working in the product verification department. And so working specifically with sprayers. And so testing those new parts that are designed and built. And so making sure they meet specs and standards and are high quality and able to be sent out into the field to customers.
So next question, kind of going off of what we've been doing for our internship experiences in general, what kind of career opportunities are available in our engineering field? So starting with chemical engineering, I know there are lots of different ways that you can go with your chemical engineering degree. Some of the main industries that I could list off the top of my head would be the food and beverage industry. So going into companies like General Mills or Post, making cereal, granola bars, anything food related can go that way with chemi. You can also go into the energy, oil and gas industry. So that's more your typical chemical engineering job, working at a refinery. There's also, you can go into environmental side chemical engineering, whether that's renewable resources or water treatment, things like that. Or you can go to the medical side and do biomedical engineering companies. So that's med device or other things like that. Or you can, or actually, Ashley, if you want to jump in and talk about what you want to do with your chemie degree too, and how that fits into pre-med.
Yeah, so
because those are kind of like job industries, but yes,
yeah,
go
so
ahead.
I'm taking a little different path within chemie. Typically someone would go into industry after finishing their chemie degree, but for medical school requirements, chemical engineering matches up very well. And it's also looks very good on your application when you apply to medical school. So I decided to take a tougher route, and I plan to attend medical school after the completion of my undergraduate degree in chemie.
So for different areas of interest for aerospace engineering, there's a couple different ones. You can go into aerodynamics and propulsion. There's the autonomous systems and controls. There's like coding that you can do, or like computation and controls. And then there's structures and materials, and you can get into the design side of things. Aerospace engineering is definitely a little bit more narrow, while like chemical and mechanical are more broad degrees where like almost any company out there is going to want to hire you. So with aerospace, you're narrowing down your options a little bit, but that also means that you know, would be getting a job at like Boeing or NASA or Collins Aerospace or Honeywell, and you'd be working on in any of those areas that I just previously listed. Again, my reason for being in engineering is a little different since I don't actually plan on being an engineer, but I want the experience and the education side of it. So you can do a whole bunch of things with an engineering degree. It doesn't necessarily have to be engineering. But as for aerospace, that is the different areas that you could go into.
Mechanical engineering is, like Lexi said, much broader than aerospace engineering. And so there are a lot of similarities between jobs you can get in aerospace and mechanical. And so, like Lexi said, you could do controls or design. You could also do manufacturing and product verification or testing. You could get into HVAC. You could do like reliability as well. Just a broad field of things that you can work on, a lot of different products. The job title might be the same within companies, but you're working on very different products, and so that could make your job be very different.
So moving on to how do we manage our time in college, balancing our schoolwork, and then clubs and jobs we have or other things going on. So yeah, engineering is definitely known to be, you know, a tricky course load. It's a lot to learn, and it's a lot of time commitment for these classes. So some things that I like to do to manage my time, I joined a lot of clubs early on, but then once you find what you're more interested in, you can narrow it down, do more of like what you're really interested in, and not be running around to like 4 different meetings every day with your coursework in addition. Also, just having a way of organizing things that you like, whether that's like my Google Calendar, I make like to-do lists to make sure I get everything done every day. And then also not being afraid to take time and take breaks for yourself, do something fun, go exercise, hang out with people, because that's really important to refresh. Like if you could spend hours doing like one homework assignment, but it's really important to take a break, let your brain recover, and have fun too. So that's kind of what I do to manage my time.
In order to manage my time, I have this planner that I like to use. I pretty much like every Sunday will plan out my whole week of when I like want to get all of my homework done. And that way I can like kind of manage out my time so that way I don't like procrastinate or leave everything to the end of the week or the day before it's due. And that way I don't get too overwhelmed, and I can make sure I can add in little spots for little mental breaks or if I have work and stuff like that. So I like using a written planner myself.
I like planners as well. I think they're really great. I don't have a written one, but at the beginning of every semester, will take my syllabi and create an Excel doc with every day for the semester and then what assignments are due. And because we're also online this semester, I do what lectures I need to watch every day. And so that gives me like each day what is due. And so I can look ahead on that one Excel doc. And then I also have a calendar with big events that don't occur every week that I can look at and say, oh, that's happening this week. This week's going to be busy, or that nothing's happening this week. So I have more time to work on school. And also taking mental breaks, I would very much recommend. I enjoy going to the gym or getting outside, riding my bike, just finding whatever relaxes you and takes your mind off school or work, because it's very easy to dive really deep and just work on school and work for a long time, but then that's not good for your health. So definitely taking those breaks is recommended.
The best way that I've found to manage my time is I have a color-coded Google Calendar that tells me exactly where I need to be and when I need to be there. So that's been very effective within my first semester at Iowa State. And then I always just try to get my homework done before the weekend, because I know that on the weekend when I'm not having classes, I'm going to want to spend time with my friends and spend time outside doing activities that I enjoy rather than being inside studying.
Yes, so lots of different ways to manage that. And while engineering can sound scary, it's definitely doable. And I think we'd all say it's definitely worth it so far. So moving on to what our favorite engineering course is so far. So for me, my favorite course, my favorite chemistry course would probably be what I'm in right now, is separations. So separations is about like separating things. It's like using different separation processes, whether that's like distillation, absorption, stripping, or liquid extraction. Those are like the main ones, but it's interesting because you realize that these things have to be done in an industry and they're complicated, and like actually doing these calculations is important, and people have to do these just to simply separate two compounds that like you wouldn't want together in your final product. So it's really interesting to see what goes into that and the design behind all of these like distillation columns and things to make it work. And it's applicable to so many different industries. So that's what my favorite class is right now.
My favorite aerospace class was an intro-level aerospace class called Aero 160, and it was a general overview of like the different focus areas of aerospace and what propulsion is and what control is, and it was a pretty like broad overview of what aerospace engineering is. So it made me like positive that I wanted to major in aerospace, and then at the end of the semester we had this final project where it was called the Lighter Than Air project, and we had to build this like aircraft out of balsa wood, and we had like a budget and a weight limit, and it had to fit a theme, and I had to work with the team to build and design it, and then we were able to fly it in like a big competition. And of course, this was all pre-COVID that this happened, but there were like a ton of people there. Like the atrium was full of people watching this competition go on. So it was really exciting. I was able to meet like older class and or upperclassmen. I don't know. It was just a really fun project, and it also made me like positive that the aerospace program was the one for me.
My favorite class that I've taken so far, it's called ME1 or ME270. It is Intro to Sophomore Design, and so the whole semester you spend with one group of people and you work on one project. And so you start the semester with a problem, and then you brainstorm ideas to solve this problem, and you walk through all the steps of creating this product to solve your problem. And so that starts with brainstorming ideas and then doing alternative analysis to decide which idea would be the best. And then you go into the design, and then from there you can do, or what we worked on, like we had a financial budget, and also we had to do online analysis, but then at the last half of the semester, we got to actually get the parts to build our product, and we built it, or we would have built it, but COVID canceled that part of the project. And so then we would have presented our product at the end of the semester. And so that was my favorite, just to be able to walk through the different steps of, or that a project has. And so it's also very applicable to industry, because oftentimes you will either be doing like the product analysis or the product design or the financial analysis or the problem solving for the initial problem or things like that. And so it was cool to be able to do real life engineering within the classroom.
Since I haven't taken too many engineering courses so far, I guess I would just like to say that calculus is my favorite. That's just because I enjoy math a lot, and also it just makes more sense to me.
Nice. Okay, so moving into a few questions about advice we have for like high school age students. So you all are in the age of applying to college and figuring out what you want to do. So tips we have for applying to college, or this could also just be like deciding what to do in college. But I'd say for applications, apply to lots of schools unless you know like what you want to do. If you don't know, it's okay to just apply to a bunch and then decide, or just apply to one because you know what you want to do. That's great too. And I'd say look into the programs specifically at that school for like what you're interested in. And also if you can find people that go there, whenever I have to make a decision, like the best thing I found is like talking to people that are doing it or have done that. So like deciding which classes to take, I talk to people that have taken the class or things like that. People with that experience, I feel like that's so helpful. So well, by being at this panel is a great start to hear about our experiences, but just talking to people and what they do, whether that's talking to someone in the job that you might be interested in, or someone that goes to that college, or someone that's in that major, hearing about people's experiences is a great way to help you decide what you might want to do.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. The only thing I really have to add to that is if you have the opportunity to visit the college that you are going to, visit as many of them in person as you can, because that's what it kind of came down to for me. I thought for sure I was going to go to the University of Illinois until I actually like visited University of Illinois and Iowa State. And I felt way more at home here at Iowa State. And I wouldn't have been able to figure that out if I hadn't gone to the schools in person, walked around, gone on tours, and all that. So definitely, if you have the ability to visit the school in person, walk around, see what the school has to offer, that is my best piece of advice.
I would agree 100% with what you guys said. Visit, talk to people, try to get the experience of being a college student at that university before you decide that that's the university you want to go to.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. I guess my biggest tip is just to apply to as many places as you can. A lot of schools will actually offer waivers to fees if you apply at a certain time. So just apply to as many schools as possible. It never hurts. I applied to 12 different schools and still ended up 10 miles from home. So you never know what's going to happen. Just apply and see where it takes you.
And our last question is tips we have for interviewing. So whether this is for jobs or maybe for other things college related, but I'd say my biggest tip for interviewing is to be yourself and like don't try to mold yourself into the position, but answer honestly and also do your research beforehand. So for example, if you're interviewing for like a job, so I mean, what I'm thinking of is like career fair type internship interviews. Look up the company and look up the position and know what you want to do. So you can go in confident that you know what you're talking about and that you're a good fit, and then sell yourself to them. and tell them that you are the right fit for whatever you're interviewing for.
Yeah, so my biggest tip for interviewing goes along with doing your research beforehand. You should know almost everything there is to know about this company before you go into the interview. And then you want to have questions to ask them, because they're always going to be like, do you have any questions for us? And they're way more likely to remember you if you say, yeah, actually, I was researching this about your company and I thought this was really interesting. Can you expand more on what this means? Or I had a specific question about this department that you have. What kind of projects do they work on? Do you have internship like availability there? Like that kind of thing. It really stands out to them, and it makes it so that way they know how much you want to work there. Yeah.
My tips would be dress professionally, get a pantsuit, a skirt set, anything. You only need one because there's only one career or 2 career fairs a year, and then you get internships, or not internships, interviews. And so you really only need one. And so just make sure you have one. And then also after your interview, make sure that you send a thank you note. I was advised to send a handwritten thank you note. And so I do that after all my interviews. And if you don't have their mailing address or their contact information, make sure that you ask for that at the end of your interview. Be like, hey, thank you so much for your time. Can I get a business card, or can I get your email or your phone number or something like that? And just make sure that you let them know that you are thankful for their time that they've offered you.
I guess my only tip would be just go in confident and being yourself. You really want to show what your biggest skills are and what you bring to the table, so that you know that you are being yourself in the interview and you're not acting as if you are someone that you aren't.
Great. Well, those are all our questions that we have prepared for the panel, but hopefully that was a good overview of engineering and our experiences at Iowa State. And yes, thank you for coming.